Hello and welcome to another episode of 81632-bit. I'm Rob and today we're going to be looking at 4 of the best games you've probably never played. Now, one of these is for the Sega Mega Drive / Genesis and the other 3 are Sega Master System games. So, hold on to your hats, hold on to your joypads and let's see if these truly are the best games you've never played. So, first up, we have Alicia Dragoon on the Sega Mega Drive. Now, yes, this is a game I have spoken about in the past because I love this game. It is brilliant. Absolutely everything about it is really well done. It is, at its most basic, an action platformer where you control the title character, Alicia Dragoon, with her weird little dragon creatures, and you basically do what you always do in these games. You have an evil villain to defeat and to save your, I think in this case it's to save your village, and yeah, it's just a really fun game. Now, when this came out in 1992, this did review really well at the time. I think Mean Machines gave it a near 90% score. It really raved about it. In fact, most magazines gave it great scores. The problem was Sega released it, they didn't really have any faith in it, and not a huge number of copies were produced, which means not a huge number of people got to play it originally. I was one of the lucky ones, I did, and I think this to this day remains one of the most underplayed and underappreciated games of its type on the Mega Drive. And let's be fair, the Mega Drive was not exactly short of action platformers, but this is an absolute top tier version of that type of genre. I love it. It looks great, it sounds great, it plays great. It's had more love in recent years. It did show up on the Sega Mega Drive collection, but I still think this game is something that everyone needs to play, and if you haven't played it, which I guess a lot of people still haven't, do. You will not be disappointed. It truly is a superb game. Next up, we have Master of Darkness for the Master System. There is also a Game Gear version. Now, thanks to the incredible messing about that Nintendo used to do back in the 80s and 90s with licensing agreements, the Master System never saw an official Castlevania game. Indeed, the Mega Drive only saw one release relatively far into its lifespan. But Master of Darkness is Sega's own attempt at a Castlevania for the system. And you know what? It's a bloody good version. It's everything you expect from a Castlevania type game of its era. You know, you have hidden items buried in the walls, just like on the NES and early SNES versions. You have various ghouls and ghosts and creatures to destroy, including really frustrating bats, which swoop down and hit you. You have, in this game, it's floating masks rather than candles to hit to get power-ups and such. But as you can see, it even looks like a Castlevania game, right down to the staircase design with the little square blocks. You know, everything about this game screams Castlevania. And yeah, like I said, it looks the part, it sounds the part, and you know what? It plays pretty darn close as well. Yes, it's not quite there when you compare it to, say, the refined gameplay of the NES and SNES games, but you know what? For a one-off attempt, it's pretty darn good. This was a European only release for the Master System, and I think it also did receive a Brazilian release, but American gamers never got to sort it because by this point, the Master System was long dead. I heartily recommend you check this out because it is well worth it. And here we have Road Rash. Now, Road Rash is a game that many gamers are familiar with, especially if you grew up with a Mega Drive or Genesis. You'll probably have played Road Rash 2, Road Rash 3 on the Mega Drive. However, you probably haven't played the Master System version. Now, the Master System version came out in Europe and Brazil. And you know what? It's a damn good version again. It's It's quite bizarre really when you look at Road Rash and you think, Sega's little Z80 powered machine shouldn't be able to do a super version of Road Rash. Oh, it's quite smooth, it's undulating hills. However, here it is. It looks damn good. In fact, it's embarrassingly close to how the Mega Drive original looks, and I think that's a testament to the developers. Now, this was developed for the Sega's 8-bit machine by Probe Software, who didn't exactly have the best of reputations being a conversion house, but this is absolutely superb. It looks great, it sounds great for the Master System, and more than anything else, it plays beautifully. This plays the perfect version of Road Rash. Seriously, this is one of those games. If somebody showed you this footage and they didn't necessarily tell you it was the Master System version, you may think it was the Mega Drive version instead. That's how good I think this is. Seriously, if you get a chance to play it, whether getting a cartridge or whether using a multi-cart through emulation, give it a go. You will really not be disappointed by this version of Electronic Arts' superb racing combat classic. And finally, we have Basketball Nightmare for the Master System. Now, I'll be honest, this is not the best video game version of basketball you'll ever play, but it's a brilliantly fun little game which actually has a story rather than you just playing against random teams of werewolves and vampires and zombies and all other kinds of monsters. And it's just a good, silly, throwaway little game of basketball. You know, it looks okay, yes, it's a bit sprightly, but you got these lovely little cutscenes on the slam dunks. It's just generally a fun game to play, and you know, a sports game with a story, not something that you see very often. And yeah, I kind of think it's worth it, especially because of the spooky theme. You know, it's anything spooky is good, and this is just a fun little game. It's a great way of passing 10-15 minutes, especially if you do it in 2-player mode. It's fun, it's hilarious. I can't recommend it enough for a bit of fun. And that is that. Basketball Nightmare is the last film of the games in this video, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Now, one thing I will say, not every game in this video is probably going to be to everyone's taste, and that's fine. These are just 4 games that I happen to think are probably the best games you've never played. Do you disagree with me? Tell me in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Tell me in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you've really liked it, ring the bell. This is all about the games. I'm Rob. This has been 81632-bit. And I'd just like to say so long, and I will see you next time.